There's cricket happening all over the world, but the fans, they rushed at the Gold Coast there. 4,000 Australians ready for the Australian summer. Australia, West Indies, Australia, England, India, South Africa, a tri-series in New Zealand. Other stuff happening. I guess Thailand won a game. That's something as well. Hey, Teague Wylie's on the show. That's safety. That's the future. That makes me feel good. He is on the show. This episode is brought to you by Budgy Smuggler, budgysmuggler.com.au. If that is your preference, use the code CHAMP at checkout. My name is Ian Higgins. Sam Perry. Was it obstruction? Was Matt Wade obstructing the field?
I mean, was it? I mean, fucking.
What do you mean, was he?
He nearly tackled him.
It was just shepherding him off the ball.
I like that. That's good. So we'll jump straight into that.
Yep.
We'll jump straight into the obstruction.
Yeah.
There's no doubt it was an obstruction, but I do like when you look at some of the more Australian-focused media. There were different words used. I think on the Cricket Australia website, it was Wade and Wood collide. This sort of neutral action.
Yeah.
No, it was good. Okay. Yeah, so some great things happened in this match overnight that
Great
we won't
game.
remember in
Great
48
game.
hours' time.
Yeah.
Because it will be usurped by another match happening in Canberra.
Yes.
But we'll go straight into the moral issues of the game. So, all right, 17th over. Wood basically lids Wade and ball flies up in the air. Flicks his helmet. Wood follows through to catch it. Wade blocks him with his arm. Now, look, we're all saying the same thing. I mean, it's out. Look, 37.1.1 of the laws are clear.
Well, I thought there was contact with Wood, and I thought Wade was playing for it. He went down easily, but I think it was a pen.
I like how Stoinis, in defending his friend Wade, the unlikely friendship that was born of South Africa last year.
Indeed.
And we can't, go past that. I mean, this is the Anglospheric tribalism happening right here. But,
they're nervous, we're calm.
Stoinis said, it's chaos.
Chaos.
It's chaos out there.
Chaos.
You get hit in the head, anything can happen. Like I know when I get hit in the head from Mark Wood, I deliberately go to block him from catching the ball.
Yeah.
That's just anything can happen
Yeah.
at that time. But, I mean, really, okay, on the one hand, you can say Matthew Wade's behaviour was galling, appalling. It was similar to someone who's too competitive. It's a transgression.
Okay.
But I think Butler's the villain here.
Definitely.
I think Josh.
Oh, without a question. I haven't figured out yet, but I agree.
I think Josh Butler's the villain here. I was a bit confused with Josh Butler.
Josh Butler.
Who Brad Haddon was referring to.
Yeah, I think he was batting in the first innings.
Brother,
Josh.
possibly.
Yeah.
So, look, Butler, on the one hand, purely enforces the rules of the game because it's a game of laws.
It's in the laws, mate.
It's a game of laws,
Yeah.
and he's entitled to either appeal or not appeal,
Right.
right, as captain, I think.
Or don't you know? Don't you know every law?
Why doesn't Butler just say, nah, you've obstructed him, it's out? Why doesn't he do that?
Well, he said that because they've just landed on Australian shores, and don't want to get the natives offside.
I just like the English like to write the rules, and then have players who too like to decide which ones they deem moral, which ones they don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Butler sees the laws.
Yeah.
He says no. Like Butler's an emperor in Rome. Thumbs up, thumbs down on whatever law he wants. It's render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. I'm in charge of the laws now, not the fucking MCC. And I deem at this moment in time that's not out. Later in the World Cup, that's out.
It's very confusing.
Says, it is. It's just I'll decide the laws that I want to apply and the manner in which I want to apply them.
Has Josh stitched himself up? Different to Josh Hazelwood.
Yeah, that's right.
Has Josh stitched himself up? Because during the week he said, he was referring to the run out at the non-strikers end,
of course,
which is just so much easier to say.
Rolls of the tongue.
Then he was like, well, if it happened in the World Cup, we're not going to do that. So he's already sort of announced the stance of what's going on here. Can I give you a contrarian view? I'm not sure Wood would have caught it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. But does it?
But exactly.
But does
exactly,
it?
but does
Does
it?
it?
It's akin to like the penalty try.
How come they need to appeal? Why do they need to appeal? Like, you don't need to appeal if you're bowled.
I mean, the Westminster system was...
What a fucking accessible sport. I don't know why 4,000 people turned up at the Gold Coast.
What, you don't know the Westminster system?
You fucking loser.
I actually, talk about some loser shit this morning. I did, and people are gonna, tell me what I should have done here. But
Okay.
I actually did want to look up whether or not an obstructing the field dismissal required an appeal.
Okay.
But then I started to get confused. And I'm a man admitting vulnerability here, which is a big mistake. And I'll go,
Let us know in the comments. Yeah.
Wow, lucky he's married because
he'll never find another love. Yeah.
Another. But then I started to get confused about which appeals do require, which dismissals do require appeals, and not.
There must be some instances where, especially in club cricket, where an LBW isn't appealed for, and the umpire must be like, "What? That's out. Why is no one appealing?" Yeah, have you ever seen those before?
Yeah, that's right.
That guy's just
definitely
just look at me with a raised eyebrow, and I'll give it.
Exactly. Or just frighten, startle me as an old man with a yell.
Whatever you want. Yeah. I mean, here's my keys as well.
But yeah, I don't know about your notifications last night. Seemed to have a lot of people writing in, go, "What about the spirit of cricket with Matthew Wade last night?" I was like, "Yeah, that was shit." I thought it was ordinary from Wade. I thought it was a bad look. And look, I defer to Stoneys. There's just chaos out there. I always block people when I get littered. But I think that should be said. It was pretty ordinary. And then Butler saying, "Nah, this is out. That's not out." Well, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's all pretty good. Well, anyway, it was a pretty good game last night. Pretty good game.
Yeah,
don't want to reveal that I actually like something. Pretty good game last night. What did England hit? 208. I reckon they were about 70 short with where they were going at one point.
None for 130. None for 130 and just...
Oh, yeah, that was in the power plate as well.
Yeah,
against Australia's B at Zach.
Twos.
It was Aussie twos. Different to Australia, right? There's a separate team. They're actually playing a different game against West Indies. So England finished 6 for 208. Hale's 84 off 51. Fuck me, he's good in Australia, isn't he? He's probably good everywhere in the world, pretty much. I actually saw a stat this morning. He scored more... What is it? He scored more runs in Australia than any other player since 2019. That includes Maxwell seconds. Who else is good in Australia? I know, the guy's playing the Big Bash. Hale's number one.
Loves an Australian run.
Butler's 60 out of 32. Obviously, first game gap back for Joss in a hot minute coming back. What was his injury? He did something, didn't he?
I know, but it's first game since mid-August. Okay. And it was just raining 4s and 6s at the start.
Fuck, he's good.
He's like all the good T20 words. He's like explosive, 360, finesse, thrash. He really can... He seems to be able to embody all the different things that a good batter would be able to do. Top of the order, middle, spin, quick. You say any word, that's him. And Hales made 84 or 51. That's how good Butler was, that like Hales was very second fiddle with 84 or 51 to Butler. It was pretty sure Mark Waugh described him as streaky like 3 or 4 times. And then I know early
it's great to be back in the summer, isn't it?
I'd love a streaky 84 or 51 against twos. But I think earlier they mentioned that he'd been overlooked for 12 months, Alex Hales.
He's been overlooked. Yeah. Been overlooked.
Which I think when you
for
follow
12 months.
When you follow cricket between November and February in Australia exclusively.
February's generous.
That is what Alex Hales has been.
Yeah.
I thought it was 3 years in a strident stand against him on the grounds of culture. But I appreciate their matters of interpretation. Yeah, 84 or 51 is second fiddle. England were none for 130. So Australia did well to pull it back.
Well, Nathan Ellis did well, mate. That's sort of the... I feel like that might be the story of this match. So for an Australian perspective...
It's the hipster story of this match.
Sure. Nathan Ellis has played 5 times for Australia. And I think he's played a bad game for Australia. Now, he's playing separate... Is this his first game in Australia?
Yeah.
Because he played in Bangladesh. He might have played in the West Indies as well. Has he played one game in India? Yes, he has. And he's played this one here.
Yeah.
Well, who else plays cricket? There was that famous one in Bali that he played. Anyway, he had 3 for 20.
Off 4.
3 for 20 off 4 and so the rest of the team's gone for 180 something off 16, and one guy's taken 3 for 20 off 4.
In both sides, 3 for 20 off 4 in a 208 plays 200 game.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and he's not in the squad. He's not in the squad, but he's taken a hat trick on debut.
That's right. Stellar performances pretty much every time he plays for Australia. But go off. Cameron Green needs to be in the side.
Well, I'm off Green now because he hasn't done something in 10 minutes, so. I'm off him, and now he's under 2 meters in my eyes.
Isn't it funny with Green? Like he evidently is in the squad. even though he's not officially.
Well, it's a 16-man
squad. And he has been for some time. Like, for someone not in the squad, he gives off an awfully I'm first picked in the
first name of the team sheet sort of aura.
Vibe. Now reading that Ashton Agar is very injured.
Is he?
Yeah, he's just struggling to get back.
That's a nightmare.
And Cameron Green's scored no runs in Australia, but it's like, it's Cameron Green. You've got to pick him. He's got to play. Which I like, and now the captain has to move positions. Steve Smith's out, but it's just Green's in. And the other thing I like about this game, he goes, was just a note for Perth. First game in a couple of years. In a couple of years, and again, like Aussies will understand this. It's bounce, it's carry, it's lift, it's harm, it's hue. Something stirs the Australian loin. You know, about the vastness of it all. Everything's big and fast. The stadium is too big. Cameron Green is too big. Incongruously, he seems to be struggling with the bounce.
The stadium's too big for the amount of people who go to the games.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it's everything's too big, but you still feel comfort in it.
There's comfort.
Yeah.
There's comfort. This is the first game well, no, that's not true. There were other games in other parts of Australia in August, weren't there, against New Zealand and Zimbabwe. I think they played against them. I don't really remember. But it just reminded me like how fucking different the sport is when it's not played in the UAE and India. Yeah. Like it's a different sport. Yeah. Like I noticed it more against the West Indies, but like you look at the pace, pace of Wood, Mark Wood's quick everywhere, but like it's a different sport in like the lengths you bowl, how much further you have to hit the ball to get a six.
Cross-bat stuff.
Yeah. It's it really is quite different, and there's no doubt that Australia will be favourites. Well, they are one of the favourites with India. But it's just, it's just interesting. Like, India's batting recently has relied a lot on Suryakumar Yadav, right? Who's actually never played in Australia. He's never played top-level cricket in Australia.
Is that right? I swear he scored runs at the SCG once.
Nah, he's never played out here.
Okay.
With a whole bunch of, there's like 4 or 5 of them that the Indian guys that haven't played out here. But yeah, it's just. But then, Kohli's played it here, for instance. I don't know. My point being just like realizing how different the sport is in Australia compared to the subcontinent, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking revelation, isn't it? Good work, you guys.
No, not really. I do think Australians don't appreciate that our conditions can be as like foreign to others as theirs are to ours. We're like, no, it's like an accent. Oh no, our accent's normal.
Yeah.
And then you go overseas and you hear it like, like, and I think our conditions are like that as well. And then that's right. You go over to Asia and you're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
What's this shit tip?
But you know how? Cameron Green is in the squad, right? He's in. He'll play.
We don't know how, but he's in.
He's in. He's in. Someone's
playing a lot of games for someone not in the team.
Well, Finch afterwards said, so Finch is going to open the batting in the next 2 games in Canberra against England, and he said, well, that was always going to be the plan. He said this after the press conference afterwards. He said, I'm going to go back to the top. And we've just been trialling Cameron Green. We've just been trialling around, just see what, like, for what? Trialling for what? You mean the World Cup that's happening in 2 weeks' time? It actually starts on Sunday, the qualifiers. So
does that mean Green will play like in the middle order now? And it's just going to be a 3-way bat off between. The funny thing is, like, I know we're going to come back to this, but like, 72 hours ago, Tim David made 42 off 20, and it was a great knock. And Mark Wall's going, well, now he's in. It's like, Junior, he's been doing that for 2 years. He's just seen it for the first time, And Dan Christiansen going, at least he's watching him. But like, you go, oh, now Tim David's in. Yeah. And it's like, but then you can fail in the next 72 hours or, 96 hours. And just like, nah, you're on the back burner again. Like the games come so thick and fast. You're in and out of form 4 times in 7 days.
I saw some comments because Maxwell was rested from this game, right? And I just saw some comments from people being like, why is he rested? He's rested from playing for bowling 4 overs and batting against a couple of balls. And it's like, I don't think people realise how much cricket these guys play and how fucking exhausted everyone is. But
if you're sort of on the travelling circus like us, sort of on the inside with pros.
Oh yeah, how come you don't know?
Yeah.
It just reminded me of we were at a function maybe a couple of months ago where George Bailey was at, and I was just fucking flying. And I just kept walking up to George Bailey and going, Tim David. Yeah. And then just walking away. Yeah. Tim David. So
I remember talking to him about Tim David. I don't remember any content of that conversation. I remember saying something and thinking, I'm shooting this guy.
Anyway, he's good. Anyway, the point being about like different conditions that I was trying to make before, Cameron Green he was the player of the tournament for Australia in that series in India. Now, just wonder.
It was a long time ago.
It was, I think that was in the mid-90s. So, I wonder if he if he hasn't been able to do it in Australia yet, just because his game isn't quite suited to opening the batting in Australia just yet. I mean, he hasn't performed just yet in these games that he's been given. I still think they want him. I mean, he seems like quite an important figure in the team. He's buying 4 overs. He's opening the batting. Pretty important guy to have in the team, it seems like. But I just, yeah, he still hasn't done it in Australia. He still hasn't done it yet. And I've got to tell you, like, Finch's performed pretty well. You got a 50 against the West Indies in the first game, wasn't it? In that chase there. And also, I think he's got like 5 50s in his last like 10 innings or something like that, Finch. Or maybe he's not as many as that. His record in T20s at the moment, Finch, is pretty good. And I've changed my mind. I had Finch out of the side, but I've changed my mind now. I think Finch is fine. He'll go back up to the top, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes against a swinging ball again, because I think he's been doing okay when it hasn't been swinging, and he plays spin well, doesn't he? But
that's just one thing I find hard about T20 cricket, mate, is like, you know, I think we've mentioned this in the previous shows. Players talk about how comfortable they become with failure and inconsistency. Yeah. Like it's so hard to draw trend lines with anything. Like David Warner's hit 270s in a row, and like I have this abiding idea of like, oh, don't waste those runs.
Yeah.
That means you can't get runs in the tournament
Won't
now.
work.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it preordained how many runs you're allowed to score? Yes, in T20 cricket, like people are so up and down. You can say, oh yeah, Finch is good now. It's like Finch might just chip one to short cover twice in the next couple of days. Like, he's out of form again. It's not random. You know, so good players have slightly better trends than others, but it's just it's just so difficult to determine who's good sometimes.
I had a mutual friend of ours messaged, and he was just I won't say his name because it might jeopardise his career. He just said, like, talking about T20 cricket is like reviewing a McDonald's. Just like it's all broadly the same. It's just like there's a table over there, and you're like, they have a different menu, and like it's all broadly the same. But you know, it's hard to find meaning in in any game, really.
This is like a week ago, Cameron Green was toast of the town. How does this bloke go to India and just start dominating everybody with all the best players on the one field? He's never played their open the batting in his life. Plus, he's bowling 4 overs, taking great catches. Week later, he comes home to familiar climbs. He misses out a couple of times. Hasn't got the game for it. Don't know if he should be in the side. Like, it's such a mental roller coaster.
Yeah.
Which actually, I think, sort of navigates towards keeping Finch in the side. And I do think the players and the coaches who know T20 cricket, that's why they talk about staying level all the time. It's like you just can't get too ahead of yourself or too down or just make... And that doesn't work for media because we really just want to say provocative things that aren't researched but, have good words next to each other.
See, it's becoming
upsets people.
It's becoming even more and more foreign to the average cricketer, like who just goes out on a Saturday because you put your entire self-worth on what happens on the field between 10 and 6 p.m. So, like... Now, these guys are playing so much where it's like, I'll just get them next week. I'll get them 2 days later. Yeah. Like, these guys have to fly fucking across the country to play a game 36 hours after they just beat the West Indies. There's also like that, in that first game against the West Indies, West Indies really should have won that game in that last over, dropped a couple of catches, right? And then it's like, well, Australia would have leveled that series 1-1 if they and won the next game. It's like, is it panic stations then? Because we lost the West Indies?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so like someone, I'm just mentioning off the top of my head, like...
Panic stations.
Tim David can hole out on the boundary.
Yeah.
Hole out. Thinking about that now. In a key moment of the game. And he's entitled to walk off and just shrug his shoulders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, on another day, that just goes over someone's head. Well, that's just the game.
Yeah.
It's hard getting used to that. I want blood, guts, emotion. I want self-worth on the line. I want all that unhealthy stuff that's attached to the game.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing these guys just put it in a good emotional space for themselves. And I'm like, this feels wrong. This feels wrong. There's another game in a day or 2 days.
Well, what about Steve Smith though? That is interesting in that he was 12th man in this game. I don't know, I don't think anyone knows the team just yet, but it does feel like just generally watching him play that what his strength is in the T20 side doesn't really exist much anymore.
His insurance, his safety.
Yeah, but sort of like Mr. Fix-It role, like I don't know if that really exists anymore.
Yeah, but when we're 3 for shit, how are you going to feel in a World Cup game? In a semi-final, 3 for shit, tough deck, good bowlers on. Do you just want big blasters, Space Jam guys coming out just to hit our way out? Or do you want Steve Smith just to... no one's going to repair an innings better. We're going to miss him. We're going to miss Daddy in that time. But how often are we going to need Daddy?
But I don't... Okay, and answer this question literally. How many times are you 3 for 6 And then you scrap your way to 110 and you win the game.
We were against South Africa in the first game of the World Cup.
That's true.
Last year, where we got that win.
Did Smith contribute in that?
Smith kept it alive.
Yeah.
Whereas without Smith, we've just got, like, I think this is what they've been trialling, is that Finch is now playing the controlling role. And he's partly doing that because he's probably lost a little bit of confidence to explode up at the top of the order. So
I'm just less convinced that Steve Smith is one of the best 11 T20 players Australia can put out.
Look, I agree with you.
But it's a some better than the parts, right? Like he can mould a team together. But
he's insurance.
But how many times would he have to slide down to batting at 8 because
all the
time,
all the time.
Because Darwin Milan last night for England came in at 7, right?
Yeah, like I thought there was an interesting moment in the second game against the West Indies where Tim David and Steve Smith were out there at the same time. There was 30 balls to 15th over, 30 balls to go.
Yeah.
And the contrast in the way both players were able to manage that situation was just so marked. Like here you have Space Jam guy, and then here you have like best since Bradman playing this format.
Yeah.
And Tim David was just swatting blokes 110 metres, and Steve Smith was trying to manufacture shots that, were really difficult to play and doing it without a lot of success.
Yeah.
He ends up with a runner ball, and Tim David's going at 200. And it's so strange to try and compute when you didn't grow up with this format where you're like, well, who's the better bat? I mean, the answer is Smith, but in that format, there's just no comparison. And there's a reason why one is in the IPL Deluxe at the moment. The other one's more sort of on the periphery of it. It's just a strange thing because it doesn't match up to the emotional safety, I feel, of Steve Smith coming out if you're 2 for not a lot.
Yeah.
And I think Bailey et al. Probably want to have both. Because I think without Smith in the side, it is just like, let's just send blokes out to whack it.
Let's get 220.
Yeah, well, it is. And that's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting, but I think they, from time to time, they might want someone who can help in there. But I don't think he's in the first 11 now.
Yeah. So who bats 4 for you?
I don't know, man. I mean, okay, so Finch says he's
so it'd be Finch, Warner, Marsh, right?
Well, I didn't know that he'd said that he was opening in those next 2 games.
Right.
I was like, why the fuck is he... Why hasn't he opened in the last couple of games? I don't know. If it's Finch, Warner, Marsh, then I guess who is...
So for me, Maxwell at 4.
And then who's 5?
Stoinis.
And then David 6. So Green's out.
Yeah.
Okay. So literally the team that they're going to start with, they haven't even played yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Wade, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's one way of doing it. I mean, I just don't see why they would have played Cameron Green in so many games if they don't intend on him being in the first 11.
I can't figure out either.
And bowling. And in every and it's not even like they fucked around with him. Every single game he's played, he's opened the batting as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure that they know what they're doing yet. I don't know if they have a grand design.
Right. And so Finch has confirmed that he's opening with Warner in the next 2 games.
Yeah, he said at the end of the game.
I wonder what that means for Cameron Green. Maybe they just wanted to give Finch a break from opening the batting and getting his front pad 9-11. With respect to him. Possibly. And it's gone well for him.
Well, Maxwell's...
Look, we're fucking invested in this side, aren't we?
Yeah, I know, man. Maxwell's last 7 innings for Australia in T20s, 19, 16, 1, 0, 6, 0, 1. So he's due.
Doesn't matter.
He's due.
Yeah, exactly.
He's due.
Glenn Maxwell is better prepared for this World Cup than David Warner on that basis.
That's right.
He's due.
So the reason
he's got the due date.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
He's timed.
He's tapered it nicely. His program to really launch against that first game against the Kiwis in a couple of Saturdays.
It's all about, as David Warner said, it's all about giving selectors a headache.
Yeah.
Like selectors want headaches. They want the door bashed down.
Yep.
There's multiple guys bashing doors. They're inside that door. They're getting They're getting headaches from that noise of the door being bashed.
Yep.
Think about the 90s, like John Benno, Andrew Hilditch, Trevor Hons. And I'll say Hons.
Hons, yeah.
Cracker Hons. Like chronic tension in the head. Hermocrania continua.
What the fuck is that?
Chronic tension. It's
I see.
Headaches at all times.
Of
That's
course.
what they did in the 90s. I
Of
mean,
course.
so does it all go well for Australia? Does it mean that there's lots of competition? Does Stoinis' innings last night where he hits 35 off nothing gets off the mark quickly as well? Is that a function of Tim David's pressure, cranial pressure? Is this bash door down stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked it last night. I liked seeing that big Stoin in there, 35 or 15. That was all pretty good.
Should we talk about England a bit? I mean, they won.
Yeah, I don't really rate it.
Mark Wood, it's
Yeah,
quick,
yeah,
it's throw-for,
yeah.
he hit the deck.
I was impressed with Curran last night.
Yeah, change of pace.
Real good death
like
bowling.
It.
Real good death bowling. And Reece Topley's been doing well for them. Adil Rashid's a very good international spinner. He's got a very good record.
Yeah.
Moeen Ali as well for chop out runs. Yeah. Look, it's a good side. I mean, Moeen Ali said at the end of the Pakistan series he thought that India and Australia were the two favourites. It's also what most people think. But I mean, England, like, fuck, I mean,
well, they just dusted us first time here. I think England and
I'll get straight twos.
It was twos. Is Livingston coming back?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Fucking
Yeah.
hell. Stokes coming in at 3. I just thought, like, it was Butler, Hales, and it's like, send Stokes out. I know it didn't work for him. I was like, that's
first
rocket launcher
T20
stuff.
first T20 for Stokes since sometime last year,
Felt
about
weird.
a year ago. Felt weird, didn't
Felt
it?
weird. On the boundary, no lid.
No
like
lid.
I
Not
like
captain.
it. I like it.
Yeah. He would have appealed for obstructing.
So he should.
That other series that happened in the West Indies.
Oh, yeah.
What haven't we spoken about? Hey, Stark's good. He took 4 for, what did he take, 4 for 20 or something in that second game? 4 for 20. 4 for 20. Dave Warner runs everywhere. Dave Warner went past, he scored his 100th score of 50 or more in T20 cricket. Only Chris Gale's got more in the history of the sport.
100th score of 50 or more. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty good. And then now he's got 101. He did another 50 last night, didn't he? That's good.
David Warner's been the coming man for so long. Is it? Like, I mean, he's here, but like he's a great. He's a great, but he's so shrouded in like a polarity. You know, people's views of him that I think it sometimes masks how good he is. He's just been so great before our eyes for so long, and he's just doing it right now.
You know, I was thinking about with him. I was just looking at those numbers. Like he's got more scores of 50 more than Kohli, Bubba. It's literally only Chris Gale, who played until he was 61 years old, who has scored more 50 plus scores in T20 cricket. And I wonder, this is also in relation to the attendances in that West Indies series. Okay, the Gold Coast. Okay, there's 4,000 people there. That's the first game, like to launch the summer. Really, you know, like the footy's over. First game of the summer, 4,000 people turn up to the Gold Coast.
Then, the Gold Coast is the biggest fucking myth.
It's a fucking myth.
It's a myth.
It's a fucking myth.
You know, like every demographer in Australia is like, oh, it's the fastest growing thing. We've got to put a sports team there. Fucking no one goes or cares. Lovely place, Gold Coast. If you live there, congrats. Great to be from there.
Good for you.
Yeah. But like, it's forever proven itself a myth as a sporting place.
Yeah.
And if you throw on top of that what Lawler described as the shallow hell of it all. Basically fucking international T20 friendlies in October into the fucking Gold Coast.
Yep.
You're asking for it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And then, because the second game, there was under 8,000 people at the Gabba.
So doubled.
2x. Different to 4x, of course. Yeah. But I think this is. I think Australia's relationship to T20 cricket is still. We still don't rate it. Don't want it. Don't. It's a bit of a hit and giggle. It's still.
I'm curious about this World Cup.
So am I.
Here in Australia.
Yeah, so am I. Now, like literally, we fucking won the thing last year. People really care about it. People really care about last year. They care a lot more about the Ashes. Now, the Ashes is the Ashes, right? It's the biggest thing in the sport.
Can't argue with that.
The Ashes. Well, actually, the Ashes actually isn't the Ashes.
Not quite
when you
the
think
Ashes.
about it. Yeah.
Change the formats of it.
But I just think people's relationship to it is like, nah, get the real stuff on in the Boxing Day Test and get the summer going and a bit of Test cricket. Marnus runs, Steve Smith runs. You know, it's not so. When I think about Warner's record and his achievements in the sport, I mean, he is without question. He's in the conversation for the greatest T20 player of all time. He's in that discussion. But
it's a conversation we have.
Yes, but I don't think people even recognise that because it's like barely, it's barely a thing. I think we're still thinking about Andrew Johns playing for New South Wales in the T20s.
Yeah. If you open the papers in Australia today, you're over the age of 60. And if you
Congratulations on your investment property.
That's right. Yeah. Or jump online. The major sports stories will still be the footy codes, despite both of those 4 of those codes finishing, or not the A-League, sorry, but like it's time trial stuff, it's trades, it's fucking with rugby league, it's the World Cup coming up, it's like player movement. I kind of like it. It's part of me likes the myopia of Australians in this sense. Like, Australians are like, mate, I don't get out of bed for cricket until the smell of jasmine goes away and there's some sun streaming into my house and the beach becomes an option. That's when I start to tune into cricket.
Yep.
Right? And like, you can cram it all you want or whatever, but
it's quite
just wait. Like, I need there used to be a thing called changeover season. Right. You know, like the footy season finished, cricket was in a few weeks' time, and you had a few weeks to, you know, sort your tax out, which was late.
Yes, that is late.
Or whatever it may be. Tend to your garden. It's spring. There's a bit of rainfall there. Things grow a little bit much. Things grow a bit much. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
But now it's just like it's just wall to wall content at all.
Yeah,
someone said to me, yes, I went for a very wholesome like trip to the park with another friend who I used to go out with, you know, to like 4 a.m. But now there's children. And it was like 9:30 in the morning. He was telling me he caught up with a mate the night before, and he's like, no sport on. Like Saturday night, I was like, oh, how's the conversation? He's like, no, luckily we're good enough mates that we don't need sport on at the time. But you know, if it was a lesser mate, we'd need sport to fill in the gaps in conversation. Yeah. That's what we don't. That's what we don't miss. That's what we miss. So we with friendship, you know, through the changeover season is that content.
Well, I wonder if Australia actually, you know, do something this World Cup if that will endear the code to Australians. I think they have to win it. But even
have to win or bust, yeah.
Yeah. But that's any tournament really if you're Australia. But I wonder if it will change people's. I just feel people's relationship with it is like, nah, it's not. It doesn't really count. Except that, I mean, this is part of the thing. This is why no one knows who Tim David is. You know, like or have conversations about like, well, you know, Pat Cummins is a bit of a cunt, isn't he? Because he's been rested. He's resting for Australia. You know, when he should be doing.
It's very aggressive.
But you know what I mean? Like people. People's relationship with the code is just not the understanding what in terms of the global cricket economy.
Do you think that's why they want Cameron Green on the side as well, like a marketing selection as well? You know,
we all want marketing.
And that's what Nathan Ellis needs, a bit of marketing around him as well, just to force his way into the side.
I think so.
Anything else happening to that game?
I don't know. Kyle Myers hit a big 6.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
That was a good shot. Do you want to talk about Australian domestic cricket before we speak to Teague Wyllie?
Yes.
So 18-year-old Teague Wyllie has become the youngest player to score a Shield century since Ricky Ponting in the famous 92-93 summer. And what a golden summer that was.
Actually.
So that's something to look at. And he's test cricket as well, isn't he? He likes his tests.
Yeah, the rig's got presence and there's a jaw to it. I feel quite strange speaking about an 18-year-old that way, actually, as I reflect on that.
Okay,
we're about to talk to him.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of nice words coming out. There seems to be a little bit of a collection of young guys who are like who seem to be kind of pushing back on the proliferation of white ball cricket and the almighty rupee. Mm-hmm. Henry Hunt, overnight with a 97 red, in what they're calling a vigil to stave off defeat against Victoria. So earned the sack as a draw or some shit. So Henry Hunt, Will Pekowski is red ball oriented. We've obviously got Teague Wyllie now. You'd still say Cameron Green.
I say Green's red ball.
Green is red ball. Not to be confused with Red Bull, his new sponsor, which might change. Might change his orientation. I don't know. I don't know. Rajasthan. And who else we're looking at? Who else? There's one other person as well who's young and red ball, and I can't really remember right now. So that just goes to show, doesn't it? That just goes to show.
Hey, well, speaking of young and up and coming talent, which is what the Australian, don't you think Australian domestic cricket from an observer of it is just it's like player led. I don't really care about the teams, like who's winning it.
Oh man, it's names. It's
just
numbers against names.
Numbers against names.
What you're looking for.
Yeah.
So we'll do it now. Queensland played Tassie, Labuschagne 172. Good.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Jimmy Pearson 100. Good. Back up Carey stuff.
Can we talk about Jimmy Pearson?
Yeah. You're whispering it quietly.
Well, that's 500s in 2 years for Jimmy Pearson. He's got a better average than Carey in first class cricket. He averages 37, I think. So I think Carey's is 33. Carey also has 5 first class hundreds, so same amount of hundreds. Jimmy Pearson better average. And I'm just got a bit of it in my head about Carey's gloves. I'm not sure Carey's best gloves in Australia. And I think Payne is probably best gloves in Australia. Now, Payne's not going to play for Australia, don't get me wrong. But Jimmy Pearson is scoring bulk runs and has done the last couple of years. He's the Australian A wicketkeeper.
2 years younger than Carey.
A couple of years younger. Now, Carey, I think, is probably going to be Australia's one-day captain when Finch has stepped down from
I
one
think
day.
Cummins will be.
You think Cummins will be?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Jimmy Pearson, there's something there. There's something there to look at. I think he's putting pressure on Carey.
It's runs, it's gloves, it's Queensland.
I've not seen the gloves, to be honest. I don't pretend to.
I'm told it's gloves.
Okay, you're told it's gloves? Yeah.
I'm reliably. I always defer to wicket keepers on that matter.
Yeah.
You can't just.
I just don't watch Shield cricket. It's because.
What?
So I've never seen.
What are you doing?
I've never seen it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gloves and it's runs. It's keeper runs.
Okay.
It's shields.
Something.
Yeah.
It's something to
It's
look
winning.
at. Now I don't think Carey's about to be dropped. I think Carey's actually done quite well for Australia. But gloves are a thing. Gloves are a thing.
Carey's got some white ball stuff. Carey's also got a bit about him, a bit of leadership about him. And he's also got a bit about him. He's got a bit of Aussie rules / AFL about him.
He's got teeth.
He's got teeth. He's got he's boy next door, Carey as well.
He's like boy next door.
If you're a father,
Yeah, okay, nice.
Sorry, I'm having a stroke.
Hey, what about Will Sutherland getting his maiden first class 100 against South Australia?
I read the other day Collingwood made an approach to him.
Really?
Yeah, it was some Reddit stuff. So obviously I've verified
tell you what,
it.
that family, because Annabelle Sutherland's done some stuff. She's got 200s this year so far. But I tell you, there's some athleticism in that family.
Yeah, and administration.
Is it a big head?
Will Sutherland.
Yeah, I think
it's all big.
And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean the head is actually like a buffalo.
It's not out of proportion though, is it?
Is it? I know.
Will Sutherland's got international cricket.
Doesn't he? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, and therefore it'll be so.
So Will Sutherland 100, I'd like to see that. Pete Hanscom 100, I'd like to see it.
His 18th first class 100. That's heaps.
I think he's
got two test tons.
Still in touch with the selectors, and guess what? Bit of Asia stuff coming up as well. Where he doesn't want to be known as an Asian specialist, but he can't help what he's been given.
Well, he'll have a look at it.
Can't help
what
he's been given. Yeah, he's not going to turn his head from it.
Yeah, no, I've already played in Asia. Not for me.
George Bailey calls me. Will you have a look at Asia for us? Yeah, I'll have a look. Travis Head's made 70 odd. I'm sure it was great to watch.
Yep. Captain
Scott Boland's looking good. There was names and numbers.
Yep.
And that made me feel happy and safe.
In
this round of Shield cricket, you said Tim Payne came back as well.
He did come back.
Yeah,
he did come back.
A lot of dismissals as well.
Yeah, he finished 26 red in the second innings there where they got rolled.
So Burns and Khawaja combined to drop one for what would have been Mark Steketty's hat trick.
Oh, really?
But one of those ones where it's like it's catch of the summer if Khawaja takes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw some footage actually on Khawaja's Instagram. It was actually before they went away to Asia, and he's batting on his tennis court with a tennis ball machine. He's batting his Australia lid.
Oh, okay.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, I'd do that.
That content's about 6 months old, so do with that what you will. Also, I noticed that Jimmy Pearson was talking about how what's his name? Renshaw opening the batting for Queensland. So Khawaja wasn't opening the batting. It was Burns and Renshaw, and they did that because they're having a look at like a bit of a replacement for what happens at the top of the order when Warner eventually retires. And who happens with him? Oh, Khawaja happens with him at the moment. Anyway, those guys are both deep into their 30s.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why Renshaw's back opening the batting, because he was batting like 5 and 6 for a while, wasn't he? For Queensland. Anyway,
I like that. Yeah, for Queensland's in a good moment. They seem to just have things quite nicely aligned. That makes me feel safe as an Australian.
Yeah, sure.
And when a state starts to orient itself towards like we're just getting guys ready to play for Australia, that's when you know it's in a good place. Yeah, that's right. We're going to fuck around with the order.
Yeah.
Uzi, you drop down to 4 so we can get Renshaw again for Australia. Sort of stuff my state used to do, but
it's not a great 11. Not a great 11 at the moment, doesn't look like.
Yeah, it's a great 11. Disrespectful.
Hey, we're going to speak to Teague Wyllie right now, but before we do anything, our dear friends at Budgy Smuggler, budgysmuggler.com. Pez, the ordinary competition, the finalists have been decided.
Some great content online as well with CEO Adam Linforth, friend of the show, well, an important friend of the show, but truly has been on the show, telling stories about showering with the New South Wales side. There's great content of him calling up the nominees for Ordinary Rig. So that event is on the 29th of October at the Ivy in Sydney, and you can be there if you'd like to purchase a ticket. You just go to Eventbrite. Look, listen, just type in Eventbrite, Budgy Smuggler, Rig, Ordinary, ticket, and you're just going to get that at the top of it. You know how People know how to use. What do you want to do? Like read out eventbrite.com.au/e/ordinary. It's not going to work. So
just type in Budgy Smuggler ordinary rig how get ticket.
Ticket how get now available.
When it
even with some typos, it will work it out.
Yeah, and it'll give you like in italics, in a bold italics, it'll tell you what you actually were trying to say.
And if you've got problems like me, you'll actually click that so that the spelling was correct as it brings up a new page.
Even though it's the same search results.
Exactly. You can buy tickets there. Doors open 1 p.m. Saturday, October 29. Action kicks off at 2:30 sharp. The winner's crowned at 4:45. Lots of hijinks in between. Hosted by the Hello Sport Boys, Tom and Eddie. That'll be amazing. $20 from every ticket donated to the Black Dog Institute.
That's similar to TJC's charity, the Front Dog Institute.
That's right. You've heard of the Black Dog. Now get ready for the Front Dog Institute.
It's about getting guys off the back foot.
That's right. It's sort of half cricket coaching, half life coaching.
It's half life coaching and confidence boosting.
That's right.
Yeah,
and the ensuing mental health effects
that
flow from it. And you become quite proficient on the front foot.
That's right. Now that's a Front Dog Institute, which is different to what Budgy Smuggler is supporting. A far more important organisation.
That's right, the Black Dog Institute. Also, if you just want any kit heading into summer or winter, wherever you are, they're the only 2 seasons. Or I suppose there's wet season in Darwin, and if you're in the tropics. Budgysmuggler.com.au, use the code CHAMP, and see what happens at checkout. Budgysmuggler.com.au.
And Pez, this interview is brought to you by T20 Stars. Of course, you've seen the stuff online of us playing with the kit to mix, some would say mixed results, but I've also seen Watto using it in the Legends League. No, he wasn't playing. No, he was playing in both. He was playing the Legends League in India, and he was also playing in the Road Safety World Series.
Yes.
And he was using the kit. Yep. You can find highlights of it. You can, if you follow I think it's ESPN Crick Info. I've seen some clips there online of Watto like fucking slog sweeping. Yeah, Mitch Johnson. He took down Johnson, slog sweeping Graham Swan with the kit. So but
Johnson was using it too.
Johnson was using it too,
and made 70 odd.
Really?
Now, I tell you what, it reminded me that I used to love Mitch Johnson's runs.
Batting. Yeah.
Mitch Johnson runs was like some of my favourite lower order fast bowler runs.
Yeah.
It's a specific category.
Yeah.
It goes all the way back to, in terms of my consciousness of cricket, like your Merv Hugheses, etc.
Okay.
A big fast bowler who can swing the bat a little bit, might be able to bat an 8 or a 9.
Because things would happen quickly.
Stark used to have this.
Yep.
Stark's batting's probably gone off the boil a little bit. When Stark comes out to bat these days, this is an unfortunate comparison with Johnson because they bowl with the same hand. But Stark comes out to bat these days, I don't feel like he's like, might get something in the crowd for this.
Yep.
But when Mitch Johnson batted for a while, and he scored that 100 in South Africa.
Yes, he did.
Gee, that was
I think he also got like a 90. Or did he get 200s in South Africa?
Possibly 2.
I think he might have got 2.
The Stark got his 99.
He got 99 and that was in India.
Jeez, he was striking the ball well then.
Yeah.
That was also the same series where he famously went to interview Moses Enriquez in his bed, who was just watching a bit of Spotify.
Yeah, he's watching Spotify, yeah. That was the same series, was it? Fuck, that sounds like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy's using T20 Stars kit,
right.
which is like isn't, but Mitch Johnson is, and so is Shane Watson. And as we said in the past, Watto's got his mitts all over this kit, and you can have your mitts all over this kit as well at T20stars.com.
Use the code TGC15 for a little bit of help there.
Here he is. Here's Teague Wyllie.
Well, he's the youngest Shield Centurion since Ricky Ponting, and he barely celebrated because, in his words, tax accountants don't celebrate when they do their tax return. It's the 18-year-old West Australian Teague Wyllie. Teague, welcome to The Great Cricketer.
G'day, fellas. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Nice one. Teague, just on that comment that you made, and I think it's a comment a lot of people would like some elaboration on. You say tax accountants don't celebrate when they do their tax return, but I just want to know, do you have a tax accountant, and do you know whether or not they celebrated when you made that 100? Because I suspect they might have.
I do have a tax accountant. I got a message from him after the game saying well done and all that, but I'm not sure how much he celebrated. I think Whitey might have thrown me under the bus there with that comment. I was bantering around with a few of the lads, and I was saying, when a batsman's picked to score runs, so if he gets 100, realistically, he's doing his job. Like, and if an accountant does a good tax return, he doesn't carry on. But those might have been the words I said along those lines, yeah.
Well, you mentioned there a message from the tax accountant. Let's talk about how high profile we got here after that text message. First Shield 100, 18 years old, youngest. So what was the highest profile text message that came through, and then also what was the lowest profile message that came through, and who have you brushed?
There was probably a few guys. JL, who I'm pretty close with, Gilly, a couple of those guys, and then I know probably a couple of under 10 teammates got around me, come out of the bushes and said, well done. But I don't mind it, whether I've played cricket than when I was 7 or 8 or played with them last week, they've all contributed to help me get to where I am now. So I'll always take the time of day to try and get back to everyone.
But you're probably getting back to Gilly kind of quicker than Smithy from under 10s.
Yeah, I'll get back to those guys pretty quick.
Would have been a few who's this, I reckon.
Yeah. Teague, just on the I guess the approach to scoring hundreds and stuff. Like, I know you say now that look, the words have been twisted a little bit, and that's all fun. But it is true. Like you make a point of not taking your lid off when you score 100. Why is that?
Well, I guess growing up, my father always drilled into me, probably from my perspective, I don't like a lot of the me time. I never really got around guys carrying on a lot. I've never really liked it. I've got nothing against people doing it. But I just find from my perspective, it's not something that I really like. I've always had this philosophy of 3 words when you get to 100, the job's not done. So just try and keep on going and try and make those good days great days.
Oh, it's Kobe. Job's not done. It actually reminded me of I'm not sure if you've ever seen Greg Chappell celebrate or if you know who Greg Chappell is. He played cricket for Australia a while ago. And he used to score hundreds and he would barely lift the bat. And it reminded me of that. And there's some sort of safety in that. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for that.
Almost more of an uproar for not celebrating than there is to celebrate.
Yeah. It's a real commentary on society, you've created a conversation around, how things have changed. Are you aware, Teague, that Higo's just mentioned safety, we're old men compared to you. You're 18, sort of 37, 36. I guess I'm pushing 40, but it warms the cockles of the heart just to hear a youngster talk about wanting to play red ball cricket, not wanting to celebrate hundreds because the 3 words are jobs not done, keeping the lid on. Test cricket's the purest form of the game. Do you understand how happy that makes us in this kind of, rupee chasing white ball world?
I guess I've always believed that Test cricket is the pinnacle of the game. You can't get any higher than that. You can always, I guess for me, when I might get to the back of my career, I might go try and play a bit of hit and giggle and make a bit of coin and get something back from the game. But I guess I've always just loved batting a long period of time. I love batting so much. I just find in T20 cricket, sometimes you face 30 or 40 balls, and in red ball game, I might not even be off the mark by then. So I've always just, I'll keep going back to Dad. He always just said Test cricket's the purest form of the game. And, you really get to work blokes over, and I just find it so much fun.
Can I ask, mate, we are out of the game. We've been out of the game for a little bit of time. The presentation of young guys that we get told about is that guys your age truly do go into the nets and practice their 360 hitting, or might make themselves a little bit more amenable to white ball cricket. You're there, you're 18, you're in the Australian 19 side, top run scorer at the World Cup, and you obviously don't see it that way. Are you an exception to the rule? When you play cricket with your mates, guys your age, are they a little bit more white ball focused and you're a little bit of an anomaly, off to the side, or are there a lot of guys your age who see it your way?
I guess it's tough because a lot of the pathways coming up when you're young is white ball cricket. The national champs are 50 overs. The World Cup under 19s is 50 overs. So for a lot of the guys, you say I need to focus on red ball cricket, but for them it's actually really tough because the only thing that they see is their next championship or the next World Cup, which is all white ball cricket. We had a pre-season net. We were doing white ball batting, and I literally could barely hit the ball off the square. I still can't. I remember Voges was doing a net with me, and he was like, okay, we're doing ramp shots, and first ball I ramped one into my throat and then ramped one into my chest, and I was like, I actually hate this. And then all right, mate, just try and straight drive one, and then I inside edged it into my thigh pad, and I was like, oh God, I'm having a stinker here. But I guess, as I said, I've always just had my eyes set on playing Test cricket, and no matter what game I play, I'll always try and adapt and, play my game to what suits the situation. But I might be a little bit different to other kids who, like trying to hit the ball and like trying to make, those the 60 ball hundreds. But I guess I might just be a little bit different to those guys.
Yeah. Sorry to like keep harping on about it. You've obviously mentioned the influence of your dad on this, which is very cool, and I can understand that. Like, I'm sure he goes can as well, because we just grew up in a different time where red ball cricket really is the pinnacle, and it's the best test of a player, because you do get worked over, etc. Just from your experience, like as a player who's coming through and a player of promise, and you've been identified, and now people are talking, now people are mentioning you in the same breath as Ponting and all this kind of stuff, right? Which I'm sure is unhelpful, for someone your age. Like, do you find coaches or other people in and around the system of cricket encouraging you to develop that white ball side of your game? Or do you feel like there's enough support there just to focus on red ball cricket?
I guess I'm very, very lucky to have a few really good coaches around me. I guess I don't just want to be a one-dimensional player. I don't just want to be just tunnel vision towards playing Test cricket. But I guess, in regards to white ball cricket, I've kind of tried to manufacture a game that I could get, if I managed to get selected in any white ball side, that I could perform. But I guess that just tries to come down to my career game. I try to manage risks a lot in white ball cricket. I might not score that 100 or 60 balls, but it might be a little bit of a grind. I played a one-day game on Saturday for Rockingham Mandurah, and I got my 50 in the 37th over, but then we ended up chasing it down 9 down and won the game. So it was quite a different one there, but other guys might get their 50 in the 10th over and they feel like they've done their job. But I guess I just try and, as I said, manage risk and try and find my way to try and score runs.
You mentioned earlier about JL, and I know the guy, like all the guys in Western Australia, just love Langer, right? They've all had great experiences with him, right? And I just want to know, like, when did you first meet him and what his influence has been on your career thus far? It's
actually, I've known Justin for quite a long time. When I was 12, I was picked in the WA under 15 squad, and I was down in the indoor nets at the WACA, and I was facing a couple of the bowlers, and JL was helping out with the 19s at the time. Basically ripped me out of the net and pulled me over and said, face these boys, face the 19s. And right. And the next morning I got an email and he was saying, I've been coaching at the WACA for 4 years now, and last night was one of my favourite opportunities because I got to watch you bat. So that was quite special. And then I guess we've just he's been keeping close tabs probably since then. When I was 14, I'll be the first bloke to admit I wasn't the best student at school. I ended up being a dropout, but he was saying, like, come up to my office, we can have a chat about it. Invited me to one of the WACA sessions when I was 13 or 14. Umpired a couple of their net sessions. It was really good. And I guess every time, I've made a squad or done something like that, he's always been, messaging me saying, well done. And, I could not say one bad word about JL. He's been nothing but awesome to me.
That's nice. It's nice to hear things in the background as well, like the ways coaches can support people in ways that we don't see. If you could tell us something about something we didn't see when you scored your 100, you're playing against New South Wales and you're facing Nathan Lyon when you bring it up. Like, he's got to be saying things to you, doesn't he? Like in the lead up to it. And I want to know what it was. And I want to know, were the blue baggers giving you a hard time in the lead up to the 100, or are they just sort of getting belted around?
To be honest, they were actually really good. Obviously, there's a bit of chirp in that going on. I tend to sometimes get, as Steve Smith says, get into a little bit of a bubble and you kind of shut it out. But I know Gaz took a bit of a liking to the strut. Apparently, when I bat, I roll the shoulders a little bit and I have a bit of a strut on me. And then a couple of the lads took a liking to the gold chain that I wear. But after I didn't hit that 4, but they. He said well done and well batted and all that stuff. So I guess that's what the game's about at the end of the day.
Yeah. I wonder if with your under-19 stuff and the national championships and stuff, I mean, there must be some sort of white ball pedigree in there. I mean, I just want you to make me salivate for the future, Teague, here, because obviously you're now going to play 130 tests. That's exciting. Future test captain. You're going to break all these records that Ricky Ponting set. These are your words, not mine. But, you know, is there I mean, how many ODI caps are you going to give us?
Boys, I'm obviously playing for Australia. I hope it's probably still a while away. I don't try to set too many goals when it comes to playing games for my country or playing games for WA. I just try and, you know, take that next ball's the most important one of your life, in the words of Gilly. So I'll just try and go one game at a time, and if I get there, I'll get there.
Nice. You're very, 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 very level-headed. I'm not sure.
Sounds like a test player.
Yeah. I tell you, you spoke after the 100, talking about how much you idolise Rahul Dravid. Rahul Dravid's batting, his ability to bat for long times. I wonder who are your favourite players growing up from Australia? Because I mean, they're probably still playing. Like the kids, the guys that you idolised are probably still playing for Australia. Do you have ambition to play with your hero one day?
I love Mike Hussey. I've got number 48 on my back. You know, Mike Hussey wore that number, so I love the way he went about his business. Obviously, Steve Smith and those guys, you know, when he was scoring hundreds through that Ashes series a few years ago, you know, I was just sitting there like, this guy's next level. But I guess as well, on Dravid, I've just always loved guys who have an ability to bat a long period of time, and just the mental strength it takes, and the mental strength that he had to play his role as well as he did. I just admire guys who can go out there and do business like he did.
Can you give us a bit of insight as well, Teague? Like you mentioned coaches before, like multiple coaches, and we're just talking about this off air. Like I have come across Tom Scollay, who you've been working with for a long time. Most people listening to the show, and including us, wouldn't really understand like players at the top level. You have your official coaches who might coach you in 19s, or the WA coach, etc. But like some of you guys might also get a bit of coaching privately or like outside the system. And has Tom been that for you? How long have you guys been working for, and what kind of influence has he had on your career so far?
Oh, Scholes's been awesome. And I guess that the thing as well with him is he's so good mentally. You know, his business is called Cricket Mentoring. You know, it's not just, you know, skills and technique. He's a lot off the field. You know, sometimes I'll just ring him and not even talk about cricket and talk about, you know, how life's going and all that type of stuff. But, you know, when I was a little bit younger, you know, I was still at school, I used to sometimes get a day off school to go up to his and help him do office work, and then would go hit balls for an hour or two. I'd throw to him, he'd throw to me. So he's had a very, very strong influence, and I could safely say without the help of him, I would not be where I am today.
Oh, what a legend. All right. Well, Teague, I hope this isn't the first or the last time we chat. I think it's the first of many. Congratulations on the first ton, mate. It sounds like you're gearing yourself up for a fair few more. But until then, mate, go well. And I'm looking forward to what happens when, like, you know, the rupees and the white ball stuff comes your way. It's like, you know, like an adolescent when the girls start coming and stuff like that. Should be interesting.
Thanks heaps for having me, fellas. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much to Teague Wyllie.
Wow. Wow.
That was a stretch, but I did it. India and South Africa are entangled and intertwined in a gripping ODI series, a 3-match series being played for some reason. South Africa won the first game. They defeated India by 9 runs. They hit 249 off 40 overs. It was a reduced game to 40 overs per side. Klassen and Miller both hit 70 reds. Sandhu Samson got it close at the end. He hit 86 off 63 balls, but they fell 9 runs short just at the end there. So South Africa went 1-0 up in the series. The second game was the other night, and India won that game comfortably. They fucking smashed it. South Africa got 278 for 7. Hendricks 74. Adrian Markham first runs in a long time, I want to say, hit 79. Shreyas Iyer hit 113 red in the chase, and Ishan Kishan hit his highest score for India, I want to say, hit 93. They won that game with about 25, 30 balls to spare, some shit like that. Chased 282 down, 3 down. That's the highest run chase against South Africa since March 2017, Pez, that famous run chase in that game.
Yeah.
Now, this is all interesting, well, relatively interesting in that, Pez, you're right across the World Cup Super League table. which basically dictates who qualifies for World Cups.
Yep.
And so South Africa at the moment, there are 13 teams in the World Cup Super League table. South Africa currently 11th.
Right.
The top 8 automatically qualify for the World Cup. That means that leaves 5 remaining teams in that table. Those 5 teams have to qualify against 5 other associate nations. I'm going to guess teams like Papua New Guinea, that kind of stuff. So they have to qualify to then who decides against the World Cup. Now, South Africa are 11th at the moment. You get 10 points for a win. They're miles behind 8th, which is the West Indies, I think. I looked it up before. So, and then obviously South Africa have bins the ODI series in Australia, so they're not going to accrue any points there. So basically what I'm saying is it's looking very much like South Africa are going to have to qualify for the next World Cup.
What, they're just going to have to go and pump PNG
and then they just will.
I mean, it's only a really small thing. So first thing to point out is that like South Africa's playing India 2s. So India 1s have gone to Australia to prepare for this World Cup that's on.
They were in Perth the other night watching the game last night.
That's right. Going over in their suits. Maybe they got some pajamas on the plane, first class, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And South Africa's main side remains in India to play their 2s.
Yep.
I just wonder, while pretty much every other international country is in Australia preparing for an actual World Cup, South Africa's guns are, sort of doing battle with Shreyas Iyer and Kuldeep Yadav and stuff. Good players.
Yeah, good players.
Just another example of it's just... It's India stuff for South Africa. They got to
it's huge revenue for them.
And they're playing one day cricket. When they've got another format coming up.
Yeah,
hardly an ideal preparation, as they would say.
But the World Cup is coming up. I mean, it's there. In 12 monthts' time.
That's true. That will stand them in good stead.
Yeah, can use the conditions. 11 months out.
Speaking of bin stuff,
will we? I guess this whole series is bin stuff.
I know the BCCI AGM's on October 18.
It's on October 18, is it?
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's bin stuff. Dada's up for a second term.
I thought he was leaving.
Well, CricBuzz says it's unlikely that he'll go for the second term. The Dada will go for the second term, but he might become the BCCI nominee to the ICC's chairman's post. So Dada is the big Dada. Now, that disappoint. First read of that, I'm upset because I like Dada being in charge of the BCCI because his name's Dada. Yep. It's just memories and it's a good name.
Yeah.
But then I saw that actually the proposed next chairman of the BCCI is Roger Binney.
Oh, really?
Yeah, India World Cup winner. Might succeed him. Now, Dada's been a great word to say.
Yeah, of course.
But Binney is pretty good too.
that does work for us.
Especially if you don't like something he's done or he doesn't like something someone else has done. I think BCCI's done a good job there.
When he starts offering other boards, bin stuff.
Exactly, Binney stuff, yeah. So, I'm pretty happy all around.
Okay, that's good.
It could be Dada, ICC, Binney, BCCI.
That's good.
I don't know why I put BCCI underneath ICC there.
I don't, but that's not how it works.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Binney.
Yeah. Okay,
so there you go. There's my contribution to that series.
Well, the third series, the big decider, is going to be in Delhi sometime before the World Cup starts. I don't know when it is. All right, New Zealand, Pakistan, Bangladesh tri-series. Now we're talking. Okay, New Zealand, Pakistan, Bangladesh are a tri-series. All these games are in New Zealand. Pakistan beat Bangladesh in the first game. Yep. Rizwan, he's hit a couple of runs recently. He hit 78 red.
Right.
Pakistan won that game. They also beat New Zealand.
How's the clip?
I don't have the clip in front of me.
Right.
Don't have the clip.
With Rizwan, that's all that matters, the clip.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in the second game, Pakistan beat New Zealand. Baba, his opening partner, hit 79. They chased down 149 in 18 overs. They did it easy. But the highlight of this series, without a doubt, was Glenn Phillips, who's mic'd up. He's standing at point, I think, and he's just talking about how to bowl to Rizwan. And let's have a listen to what he said.
Possible. And I think Baba, it's more probably that cock-high length, trying to be able to, I guess, hit his back hit, so that he doesn't be able to free his arms as much as possible.
Just trying to bowl that cock-height length.
To Baba,
yeah.
So
just jumping that on comms. Just trying to bowl his cock.
Supposed to be different. It'd be hard to detect the height for some. Where do you bowl to Crozier? Yeah. Well, that's his knee. Hit him on the knee.
Yorkers. I like the idea that guys get bored with the invasion of technology and broadcasters into the game itself, so they start fucking around with it. You know, start talking about guys' cocks on the mic. I mean, I don't know. I'm into it.
Isn't that what the Aussies used to do? They should start talking about. They start talking about rival sponsors.
Oh, they did. Yeah. No. That was when the stump mics were turned up too loud.
Yeah.
That might have been in South Africa.
Yeah.
Where some stuff does go down from time to time. Obviously, India accused SuperSport of cheating.
It's a great place. Yeah, that's right.
I think it was a DRS thing. Yeah, it was
one team against a whole nation.
Yeah, Kohli yelling into a stump mic.
I missed that stuff.
Yeah,
that
me
was good.
too.
India onto a good thing with that, with Shastri Kohli.
Yeah, I know.
From a narrative perspective.
Oh, yeah. It's like Vesuvius, so I feel like it was going to erupt at some point. New Zealand beat Bangladesh in the third game. I was going to say Harry Conway, who plays with South Australia now. But his cousin Devon Conway hit 70 out of 51. They chased 142 in 17 overs. So that means that Bangladesh have lost 2 games. That means Pakistan have won 2 and New Zealand have won 1, lost
fantastic.
1. So that is just going to be that is edge of your seat stuff right there.
He goes, good piece of content coming out of that as well. In terms of drumming up some hype, they had Kane Williamson talking to Babar Azam, both of them in full kit,
right,
with some cameras around them. They seem to be having this informal chat.
Okay.
But there was cameras around them or
do you
whatever.
Remember when Kohli and Steve Smith had a chat for some reason ahead of the last Border Gavaskar, the series that they won?
Riveting chat.
Yeah.
Would have been.
Yeah.
It was Kane Williamson talking to Babar Azam about man-cats. I think that's his term. And he's just looking at Babar saying, he appears to be saying, like, you just don't want people running guys out all the time. Just to slow the game down. And Babar Azam's just looking him dead in the eye, just not saying anything.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was like he disagrees or he's like, I'm just not. I'm the captain of Pakistan. I'm not going to open my mouth about that issue in any way, shape, or form. People will go down, you know?
Yeah.
So he's just smiling at him.
Yeah.
So that's another contribution from me on that series.
No, I like it. I mean, Pakistan are doing some good stuff here in the lead up to this series. I mean, they obviously lost that series against England, but, it's like South Africa. I feel there's good players and,
that's the thing with T20 World Cup.
They're losing a lot of games. They got good players. They're doing some good stuff, and I like their opening batters here. Pakistan, I think they're the best in the world.
They got some guys. Yeah. When those guys play well, they look good. And sometimes they get beaten. Those guys haven't done anything that game.
No. Yeah, and it won't be close, but
you can say that about 5-6 teams.
Yeah.
Squint. He's like, yeah, that's a really good team. And then another day, it's like, I don't know.
I'm big into like teams that can't win it, just fucking up someone else's tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's great too.
Yeah.
So who are they?
West Indies, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa.
Australia.
Australia, yeah. Doesn't work out. Could win some shit.
Real nuisance value in this tournament.
Yeah, India. I don't know.
Who went into the UAE series, Australia, the UAE World Cup? Australia was ranked 6th or 7th. Australia was nowhere.
And hadn't won a game in ages.
Yeah. They was losing to Bangladesh and the West Indies and stuff.
The bowlers were too tall against us and they were too short against us.
Sometimes the opposition was too tall, then they were too short, they weren't the right height.
The right height to play against.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Guys weren't keeping their head down.
Yeah, that's right. They weren't step hitting.
Yeah, that's
Dipping
right. Dip the head. But... and then Australia goes and wins it. Zampa's keeping receipts about who's saying what. Is Sri Lanka doing that now? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Just guys are. Just going to see some. We're going to see some sixes. I think that's about it.
In other news,
right?
I just want to mention the Women's Asia Cup.
Oh
and that Thailand beat Pakistan.
Yeah, nice.
Which was fucking unbelievable scenes. Then Pakistan, the next game, beat India. So just some good Pakistan stuff there. Thailand chased down 116, 7 wickets down, 1 ball to spare. I'm not sure if you've seen the footage. It's fucking scenes. It's good stuff. And I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just good. Just Thailand winning games. That's good.
It's again just names that are novel and good.
Yep.
No, nothing to add. Should be adding. I noticed that Elise Perry today has released a new range of cricket gear.
Staple.
It's called Staple. It's gear that's accessible to women. Makes sense. I just wanted to raise this with you, Higgos, because I think it's got a personal connection to you. Perry's bat range includes 3 models: Loftberg, Oak Hill, and St Ives. They're all a personal nod to Perry's journey through cricket, where she first learned to hit a cricket ball at Loftberg, through to her junior club, Oak Hill, and the nets at St Ives, where she still goes to have a hit with her dad and brother. Do you ever play those grounds? I
played at Loftberg. I was in West Pymble.
Yeah. So Loftberg, is there no T in Loft, or is it Loftberg?
I thought it was Loftberg.
Yeah, is it? Okay, maybe it is. Yeah.
And St Ives was my first junior club.
Yep.
But Elise and I grew up in the same
it is.
area.
It's Loftberg. There's no T in it.
No T in it?
Everyone's wrong except me.
I've been embarrassing myself for years about that stuff. They're calling it Loftberg. What a fucking idiot. Egg on my face.
Once again. Yeah.
Oh, no, he's done it
got
again.
Me. Oh, what a stitch up.
Yeah.
I just led you down a blind alley there, mate.
No, I like it. Hey, what about this, Pez? West Indian John Campbell has been banned for 4 years for a violation of an anti-doping rule, according to the Jamaican Anti-Doping Commission decision. The rule relates to evading, refusing, or failing to submit to sample collection. So I think he refused to give a blood sample.
Okay.
So John Campbell, he played in the most recent Test series against Bangladesh in June. He's played he's played 20 Tests for the West Indies. He's played 6 ODIs and 2 T20s. I'm the same as you. I wasn't that familiar with his career, but
You say that familiar, sort of. You had a bit of familiarity. I had zero. My first thought is you related to Sherwin?
Anyway, yeah, banned for 4 years. Guys played 20 Tests. It's fucking pretty. It's pretty how you going. There you go. Do something with that.
Well, it's a dagger for the Windies ahead of a Test series out here.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure if he would have been selected, but he did play in the most recent Test series against Bangladesh. So, there's that.
I want to know what it is. Like, I want to get behind him if he's taking something recreational. Now, if you're for a bit of fun.
Yeah, if you're taking no, I think it would have. 4 years. 4 years is performance enhancing. Surely.
I don't know.
How do you performance enhance in cricket? Faster twitch.
That's a big question. I think we've been trying to deal with that for 4 or 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Biceps, sex stories,
anything but go to training.
Shit, yeah. Turn up in a suit.
So he was fabricating sex stories, and so he's been banned for 4 years.
Performance enhancing. He hacked into my cricket.
Yeah.
I play cricket now.
Play cricket.
I don't know.
No. That's in the UK. I don't know.
Isn't it like the Aussie? Oh, fuck if I know. There's a new one now.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's issues.
Oh, my mistake.
Things have gone down.
My mistake.
Yeah, once again, we're both right on top of it.
Yeah, okay. Pez, before we get into the hashtag AskTGC, let's talk about Manscaped.
Yeah, okay.
What copy are you going to go for today?
Oh, Halloween. Around the corner, I guess.
Okay. Have you ever celebrated Halloween? Did you ever go trick-or-treating?
Look.
Okay.
No, I actually sort of carry a fair amount of anxiety on Halloween. Just if someone does knock on your door,
okay.
I've got to get some lollies ready and stuff.
Okay.
Whatever, who's gonna knock on the door? But no, like I didn't grow up with it. I distinctly remember growing up there being like a big sentiment of like this is an American cultural thing and we don't do this in Australia.
Yes, same.
In the mid 90s, that was sort of that was the orbit I was in. I was aware of it. You obviously got a lot of American soft power, so a lot of American cultural influence. You're aware of Halloween. I think the Simpsons Halloween episodes were usually the ones that disappointed me the most.
Same.
So I was disappointed if there's a Halloween one on.
Yep.
But didn't practice myself. I don't think my parents were like. I don't think they were sort of against it aggressively, but it's just not something that we did. And then in having kids now around our streets, there's a Halloween circuit, and people do like on, I don't know, is it coming up? I guess it's in a couple of weeks' time.
End of October, yeah.
Right. You on the weekend, people will walk around with their kids, and there's actually a circuit with like the map where it's like each house that's actually doing a Halloween thing.
Oh shit!
Is
okay.
mapped out, and
that was just called Neighborhood Watch.
We used to call that Neighborhood Watch. That's right.
Don't go in. There's a pedophile
Don't go to that one. Yeah,
it's the scariest house of all. Always used to give candy any time of year.
That's why they've got this great circuit, this Halloween one, because if you don't have your house done up for Halloween, it's presumed you're a pedophile. So Halloween's absolutely taken off.
Presumed.
That's right. Trick or treat, Halloween or pedophile.
Fuck me.
So now for the last couple of years, yeah, like I take the boys around and they love it. Like because they're dressing up, everything's scary, fun. They're getting lollies. You can see the appeal of it. It's just like you still couldn't like get me to explain the roots of Halloween or where it comes from.
I just looked it up. I thought it had something to do with...
Is it some fucking...
Yeah, so tradition originated
pilgrim
with the
shit.
Ancient Celtic festival of Samhain.
Oh, of course.
When people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1 as a time to honour All Saints. Soon, All Saints Day incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain.
Gee, there was a few rituals going on back then.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. Bit of witch stuff as well, I reckon.
Bit of witch stuff back in the day. Now, once again, I think if you play cricket, you can't really be complaining about that kind of stuff. I think we sort of observe a few rituals ourselves.
True. Left pad on first.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Actually, if you appeal, that's out, but you can actually withdraw the appeal if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, Manscaped.
Yeah, Michael Myers sure is scary, but the last thing you need is to be hairy this Halloween.
Nice.
So Manscaped launched their 4th generation performance package to make sure your pumpkins get the ultimate carving experience on this spooky day. Oh yeah, that's it. I remember this from last week. Turn your bite-sized treat into a king-sized candy.
Oh yeah.
Optical inch stuff.
Yeah.
Optical inch stuff. And that's what Manscaped's going to do for you. I'll just come down here a little bit. Their finely tuned pube products feature a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is easily the greatest ball trimmer on the planet. Oh, did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? This trimmer is a shower essential. It's true. I can back that up. You chuck it under the water, no problem. Don't have to worry about any sort of zapping. Seal the deal with Manscaped's liquid formulations. Their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner will make sure your pumpkins stay fresh. Trust me when I say this, fellas, your balls will be thank you. TM. Fuck.
I haven't used any ball toner. Have you used ball toner?
Look, I haven't, though. The other day, I chanced upon the deodorant.
The
ball deodorant.
Yeah, I have used that before.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's kind of like, but, it's, I don't know about what your setup is in your bathroom, but just have general drawers at sort of.
Oh, I've got a ball station.
Oh, really? You have an actual compartment
No, I don't.
for it?
No.
Okay.
I don't know where I was going with that.
And I'm so like generally I have like my moisturizers, my razors, etc. all sort of hanging around the same spot.
Yeah, your Jasmine.
Yeah, like
Sets of
a
candles.
cricket kit, all of my stuff's in there.
Yeah.
And
Extra.
and I just saw it. Yeah, and I just saw it. And I was like, yeah, why not? And I was happy with the scent, and I was happy with the
It's a weird
experience.
experience. Yeah, I was gonna say weird. It's I want to say unique. It was refreshing.
Yeah,
Refreshing
I thought so.
experience.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go for it every time.
No,
I
no.
know my post-shower grooming routine isn't complete unless I deodorize my balls.
What's the website, Bez?
Manscaped.com. Use the code TGC for 20% off plus free shipping. Sorry for the value.
Hashtag AskTGC. A non wrote in, but please help. My 61-year-old father is in the process of reinventing himself as a swashbuckling middle-order bat. Despite having not played for 20 years, 18, and boasting a top score of just 39 over a lengthy career as a seam bowler, he inexplicably now seems to think he can channel Rishabh Pant. I thought he was joking about his comeback, but last week he told me he picked up a new grey nick at Rebel. He's since been to a net session at his old club and claims to have smoked them. Complicating the matter is his cholesterol. He's unfit as fuck, and in recent days I've been plagued by visions of him collapsing mid-pitch while trying to turn an ambitious 2 into an impossible 3. Needless to say, my mum is livid. So, do I try to talk my dad out of this bizarre comeback for the good of his health and marriage, or do I let it play its natural course, allowing him to swing like a rusty gate under the baking WA sun until he can no longer walk on 2 legs? Who knows, he may fluke his way to a runnable 40, in which case it'll all be worth it. Cheers and keep up the good work, Anon.
Look, this is written in a really friendly manner from Anon, but I sense a lot of like undeserved aggression sitting underneath this from both the author and his mum. I mean, this is just a 61-year-old guy who wants to play cricket. Like the man has earned his right at 61, presumably. I mean, if he has a literate son or daughter, I guess it's not really made clear, is it? Who seems obviously old enough, so the child has been raised,
yes,
and raised enough to take an interest in what their father is doing.
Okay.
He's 61. He's earned the right to play fucking cricket and be Rishabh if he wants. And now he's in trouble for trying to turn a 2 into a 3. Like, let the man... No wonder the man wants some fucking space in his life. Imagine going back to play cricket. You're out in the middle dealing with whatever you deal with, and your wife and your child are still on your back.
Yeah.
Oh, don't turn that 2 into a 3, Dad.
Yeah.
Worry about your cholesterol.
Dad, your cholesterol.
You fix your cholesterol with that kind of shit.
He's
right?
being suffocated.
I mean, fuck me. He goes to let the man go to Rebel Sport, get a Gray Nichols, and pretend to be Rishabh Pant. Let him do something.
Yeah.
Who am I talking to here? You know, like he's 61.
Yeah. Yeah.
For God's sake. He's got his child is writing into a podcast going, help me.
Yeah.
My dad wants to play cricket. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Let him go.
I think most times, Pez, when we get this genre of question of should I go around again? Now, this is Anon's calling out for help, saying like, please give me the confidence I need to tell my dad, no, don't do this, and find reason in this. But like, I agree with you. Like, let him go. Like, I feel like he can find happiness in this sport.
Do you think there's an age thing in it? Like so if this player was like 35, 40, 45, maybe trying to build a career, maybe has young children, or it does or not, you know, like it's not the season of your life. It's not becoming in that season of your life to be trying to reinvent yourself as Rishabh Pant because there's a certain ego attached to it. Oh, I want it. Like, oh, I can claim this back. By the time he's 61, all bets are off. Yep. You've learnt, hopefully, or decided these are the things that make me happy and I'm going to be able to do it. No one's thinking you're going to be Rishabh again. You make a humble trip to Rebel Sport and get a little Gray Nichols bat. What's that setting you back? You're not paying more than $400 or $500 for a bat at Rebel. Are you? I mean, you're going to Rebel for starters. Yeah. You know, you're obviously not serious. Yeah. With respect to Rebel Sport.
Well, there goes that Rebel Sport partnership.
Fuck it. Or are we going to do a Rebel Sport ad and say like, oh, if you're serious about your cricket, come here. You know, like, I mean, please. So, and you know. Poor bastard just wants to play. He's never made more than 39 in his life. I'm not saying you're not in the sunset of your life at 61. Though maybe he's just trying to fix it a little bit as well. Trying to push himself for three. Trying to push himself for three when there's two. And he's got his little son on the side with a laptop going, you can't do that, Dad. I'm going to write the great cricketer and shame you into not playing cricket again. Fucking hell. Give him a break.
All right, let's do one more.
Okay, Jack. Hi, boys. Thanks, Jack. Just thought you'd like to see this come across your desk. I haven't seen what this is. The Twos captain asked a young 14-year-old kid at the club who played 3s and 4s last year what he would like to do for the year regarding batting, bowling, etc. This was the kid's response. So this is a captain who asked what he would like to do this year regarding bowling, batting, and the kid has said, is this his response? Yeah. He said, hey, Jared, good to see that you're captaining seconds. I would like to open both and field at first slip. Cheers, Marty.
Now, this wasn't an ASKTGC.
Yeah, right.
But I did think it was worthy of discussion. You know, it's a different genre to going around again. I mean, this kid has just got hope in his heart, and he's
he's been asked.
He's been asked, what do you want to do?
Question.
Don't ask, don't get.
Yeah.
And he wants to open both, and he wants to field at first slip.
I want to be specific about this because it's a text.
Yeah.
There's like it's well punctuated. You know, it's like, hey Jared, good to see that you're captaining seconds. So it opens with a compliment to him.
Yeah. He's fucking done him here.
Yeah, I would like to open both and field at first slip, and then it's cheers Marty. There's no comma after the cheers. Yeah. It's just cheers Marty. Like so he's gotten rid of that comma as well.
Yeah,
that's an alpha in the making.
Alpha fucking
in the
power
making.
Play. Yeah. Now, did you ever say where you wanted to field?
No, mate. I mean,
isn't that's some Willie Bin Park shit, isn't it? Like telling someone where you want to field.
Like
you get put.
Here's the thing: it's like, I mean, no one, sound of mind, says like, oh yeah, you know, point please, you know, backward point, you know, a little gazelle there, or like covers. Like if you're gonna say where you want to field, you'll say like 2.
Yeah. Ironically,
but like the irony is that nobody, even all the way up to the professional level, can really catch a ball on the slips. like
it's a run saving
slips
position.
Is one of those
Just
great.
Get in the way of it.
Oh, it's a vibe position.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we have slips because we're on top. I'm not saying we're going to catch anything there. And you know, it's like it's one of those positions where like when a ball comes to you in the slips, it's fucking scary. Like the sound of the nick when you're at like first or so. Do you ever feel much in the slips?
A little bit, yeah.
Like you're at 1 or 2. I mean, 3's getting a bit silly. Like,
Okay, there's never been a catch taken at third slip or gully in anything lower than first grade.
yeah, that's right. So like, but like you're at 1 or 2, and like you don't get many opportunities in a day. Like even Mark Taylor's like, if you have 1 or 2, that's a big day.
Yeah.
You know, hell of a game. Cricket, Westminster system, you're having a big day with one chance in like 8 hours, and so when it comes your way, like normal people are startled.
They panic.
First, you get like it's the fucking sound of, like of the nick, and oh shit, it's coming to me, and you're doing all that computing. You know, like so to sort of be like, yeah, I field it too. Like, no, you don't. Nobody feels there. You're there by virtue of some kind of confected seniority or hand size, in the case of Matt Renshaw and Cameron Green. You know, like, you just go there.
Yes.
But like, so I don't know if you can ever walk out into a field and without like any kind of irony just say where you field. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't walk out and just go, oh yeah, I'm mid-wicket. You know what I mean?
So none of us, I'm actually mid-on.
Yeah, I'm a
mid-on.
Specialist mid-on. Andrew Simons was good there. By the way, he was mid's off and on. This just doesn't get talked about very much. I've just never seen anyone save so many balls there.
Well, I understand that in the professional realm, but like,
yes, but let's get out of
like
that.
fours, like no one can play
That's right.
on drive again beneath first grade.
Yeah, I
like Marty's confidence. You know, he is on his way up. You know, Jared the captain is going to be usurped.
It's a good dynamic. Like lower grade cricket, whatever the level. Like when I played 4s and 5s, we had like our captain was a bit older than us. Like I wouldn't say generation older, but you know he had a job, and a car.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he was probably 23.
Yeah, it was his mum's car. Yeah, got it on
but
weekends.
you know, like the dynamic was like, you know, we called him Dad when he bowled.
Okay, good.
He was 28 probably.
yeah, that's right.
But I had the fortune of going to watch some club cricket over the weekend.
Did
with
you?
Somebody, yeah. And his son was playing. I'm not going to name. And his son was playing. So, and it was like it wasn't grade cricket. It was on AstroTurf, and it was like I don't know the level it was, but it was just. I'm not going to say it's Wheelie Bin Park stuff, because I feel like it's disrespectful. But you know, there was mounds on the ground and stuff. No, but like, I think there was a similar dynamic there. So like, it was 4th grade. And so we're in Melbourne, so a lot of the kids go from like juniors and then they play at like their adult club. So it's in the 4s of whatever club this was. And the captain is like a stalwart who's been around for like 10, 20 years. So the captain like runs a pub. He's probably Portleys, probably underselling it. He's got like the club's issued sweater, probably from a few years ago, maybe more. Looks the business. He's got like the felt cap and everything, and all these other players are just in normal whites and whatever. But I got the impression that he was a figure of derision to them. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So he couldn't really play that much, but he held up the 4th grade side on his own. Like he was the one who got the players in and stuff like that. So I can kind of see how the dynamic happens.
I played with a lot of guys which I considered warnings. You know, just like that could be you.
Yep.
If you continue down this path.
Yep.
Someone
so yeah, he texts you and it's like, oh, is it, you know, where would you like to play us? Where would you like to play us? And I consider you a warning. You're just the captain of this side. I never want to be you. I just do not want to be this. And people have that at work, I guess, as well. You have a boss, you're like, I do not want your job or your life.
I mean, Marty wants Jared's job, I reckon. First slip. I reckon Jared's at first slip. He's the captain. I want to open both. Open both.
I would like to open
that is confident.
both and feel it at first slip. I think Marty knows what he's doing. Like, imagine a 15-year-old to the captain. Hey, Jared, good to see that you're captaining seconds. Like, congratulations.
That's good for you.
Yeah, on the attainment for your abilities.
I consider you a warning. Well, I hope your season is not already over.
And that's the week in cricket.
If you've managed to get on in this wet country. On the eastern seaboard, anyway. So yeah, good luck on the weekend. Hey, if you want to support TGC, patreon.com/great cricketer, #AskTGC Fridays. More stuff to come, including live show tickets, merchandise discounts, etc. Anything else you want to say? Is that the week? Is that what's happening in cricket this week?
Nah, dog.
All right. See you later.